Yeah, boy! Oh, hell yeah. Welcome to the podcast, Stop Crying Poser. Greatest podcast known to man. As voted by Charles Dickens, who wrote a novella in 1843. Who do we have here in the chat? We have Griff, Ron, Stomp, and Node for Droid. We are sad. Generation L, Day, Dietrich, Fitnoid, Day, iBookBoy, We Are Sad, and Day once again. We do this podcast every single Friday right around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on twitch.tv/Ninja Lifestyle. The current time is 3:45, which means we are only 15 minutes late. Man, it was a long night last night. You know what happens? Same thing I always say all the time. Whenever I'm in the sanctity, the comfort of my own home, I throw caution to the wind when it comes to worrying about being hungover. And I've been worse off. But you know what? It's Jesus's day. It kind of is. It was Jesus's day. So you're supposed to celebrate. Right? What's my name? Rip off my shirt. Okay. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. I am not in any condition to do this dumbass podcast. This is probably only going to be about 20 minutes today. Nothing interesting happened. When the holidays come around, everybody stays home. No one goes out. And a lot of my cool stories come from going out into the world. So, what did I do last night? I had a Stromboli. What is a Stromboli? It's the same thing as a calzone, pretty much, like a pasty, hot pocket, uncrustable. It's a pocket of dough filled with cheese and toppings. I think inside mine had pepperoni and ham and maybe meatballs or something. What are those little pieces of beef that go on pizza? They're little balls of beef. They're just called beef. That was in there. And cheese. I ate it. It was spicy. I asked for the hot sauce. They have a hot sauce at this place. It's called Four Kegs. Popular bar here in Las Vegas just because it was on the TV show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives 20 years ago. And they sort of milk that. They've been milking that for years and years and years, that this bar was on that show. And it's not in a good neighborhood. There's a lot of tweakers in there. The whole area is just drugs and just crazy people. But anyways, went in there. Haven't had the food in a while. So we tried it out. The Stromboli, excellent. 10 out of 10. The price has gone up. It used to be like half the price as it is right now. So that's fucked. You don't go to a restaurant for 5 years. You go back in 5 years, everyone's doubled the price. Ridiculous. They also serve beer in a giant chalice. I don't know what you would call it. Like what a king would drink out of. So that's just a little fun thing they have there. Half the slot machines barely work. The bar stools don't move. They're attached to the ground. Really old school in there. Anyways, I used to get hot wings there, and I used to go there quite a bit on the weekends because after midnight, pizza's half price. So we'd go in there for pizza, and Strombolis are half price after midnight. Nowadays, I like to stay close to my neighborhood, if not in my own home around midnight. So I haven't gone there in a while. I tried their hottest hot sauce, and I used to be able to eat it no problem. Dip it in, have a bite of it. It's called the flamer sauce. Am I a flamer? Is that what you would call me? Anyways, they changed the goddamn recipe because I ate that fucker big ass bite and it lit my whole goddamn mouth on fire. Somebody must have complained that it wasn't spicy enough because I burnt the fuck out of my mouth last night. And something funny happened as well. We invited my friend Nick Stems. He came out. He said, you know what? I'm going to have something light. And he's looking through the menu. And he said, I'll have the mini tacos. And I thought to myself, you shouldn't get that at a bar like this because you don't know how often they're using their taco meat. You know what I mean? It's not a bar centralized around Mexican food. You know, you go here, you want to get a hamburger, wings, or what they're famous for, Stromboli or pizza. If you go too far off menu, you're really risking your butthole, your stomach. Your food could be poisoned in your body. So he got the mini tacos, and they came out. Listen, when you think of mini taco at a bar, I think of street tacos. Small tacos, smaller than your hand, with just meat. It's not like a Mexican themed bar, so you'd probably get ground beef, maybe onion and cilantro, maybe cheese, maybe salsa. That's it. No. They tricked us, dude. They tricked him. What they gave us was the exact 100% the exact same thing you would get at Taco Bell. Each taco was about as big as my pinky, and it folded in half, so it kind of made the shape of a half circle. And inside of the taco was just a little bit of like bean paste, like almost none. And then they came out, and I'm looking at them, and they weren't greasy. They're supposed to be greasy if they're being deep fried. No grease on these things. So I am fairly certain that these were just like microwavable, like Walmart snacks that they served to him for $8. I will give them credit though. He got at least 12 of them. He probably ate 3, and then you know what? The good thing is I'll eat anything. So I ate half my Stromboli, barely even half of it. I put everything in the box, and I had it for breakfast today. So that was the beginning of my day. We're going to be talking a lot about food today, so strap in and strap on. What else has happened? Well, on Tuesday, which would have been Christmas Eve, I went to a casino with my grandpa. We had we couldn't get reservations, so we went to this cafe, and it was completely empty on Christmas Eve. He got like a turkey dinner, and I got prime rib. It was the 3rd time this week I've had prime rib. I like it. I know there's some people that they kind of only like it for the holidays. I could eat it any day. It was great. And it's funny because the last time we went out for Thanksgiving, and I got like a ghost pepper mac and cheese that tasted like garbage. And then I got a Caesar salad, but they gave me the wrong type of salad. And then he also got like a turkey dinner at that place, and it was really good. So I was jealous of his meal, but this time we went out, he was jealous of my meal because my prime rib was really good. And 3rd time I had it, I had some prime rib with my friend Ward. He smoked his, and this place didn't smoke there. So Ward's had a really smoky flavor all around it. This one just had a really timey crust, peppery and thyme crust that I was really liking. Every time you get to that crust, you bite it and you're like, oh damn, new flavor time. Really loved that. I posted a picture of it on the Instagram, Steve Hates Skating. And people on there, their feelings are so hurt because I mentioned the location of a pro skater's foot one time. Pro skaters these days, they don't land their tricks clean. They're all bad at what they do. And I made an Instagram where all I do is whenever a pro skater does something shitty, I say, oh yeah, you suck at skating. Your foot is on the ground. Do better. Now, people that are brand new to skating, especially like huge pussies, get really offended by that. So every time I post anything, they try to like be mean to me. But it always backfires because you can never talk shit on my skating because I land all my tricks clean. And I'm not at the pro level. I'm a regular, everyday human being. So if I can do it, they can do it. I posted a picture of the prime rib, and I had no idea that this many people in the country and in the world had never seen prime rib before. I must have gotten about a dozen comments of people that just said, oh my God, you know if you eat that, it's poison. You haven't even cooked it. And mind you, it said the word prime rib was in the fucking picture. They didn't understand because when you slow cook prime rib, the inside kind of looks pink. Even though it's fully cooked, it looks pink. If you've never seen that before, number one, if you've never seen that before, I'm surprised. I'm blown away. Number two, you know what bothers me is the amount of confidence these people have in calling me dumb for eating a prime rib because they've never heard of this wildly popular holiday meal. But they were wildly confident to call me dumb and try to put themselves like above me, like they're more smart and sophisticated than me because I'm eating a raw piece of meat. But it's like, it's insanely clear that it's a very popular cut of meat, especially around the holidays. And it's just so backwards that people can be so slow. Like I could feel like if this was in a social setting, they would all be like pointing and laughing at me. And at first I would just be confused. I'd be like, what are you laughing at? And they'd be like, oh, you're going to eat that raw meat? Like, it looks terrible. And then you're like, do I need to like call like the chef or something? Well, what part of this food do you not understand? You're looking at it like you want me to take a bite out of it and show you that it's safe? Are you afraid? Does this strike fear into your heart? A fully cooked piece of beef is scary to you, or maybe like they try so hard to catch me in a situation where for the first time in their life, you know, some 13-year-old will be able to make fun of me and be right. And it's sad that they're never even close. And sad that they try so hard that they will lash out at a piece of beef when they have no understanding of it. But then again, it's kind of to be expected from these people because they also don't see the hilarious comedy in what I do on that Instagram. Calling out pro skaters who land sloppily and yelling out violation. If you can't see the humor in that, and if you watch that and you think I'm dead serious, there's no way I can help you, dude. I can't. Like, I must be the greatest actor ever. Because I would imagine that when you go and you watch like The Grinch on the Grinch movie, after you watch it, you go, oh, The Grinch isn't real. It's just a made up movie. Can you imagine if Steve Hates skating kids all watch The Grinch at once? And they'd be like, I hate that fucking green guy. I hate him. If I ever see him, I'm going to beat his ass. I hate that green fucking guy that actually exists in real life. I hate him. Yeah, so I must be the greatest actor ever because nobody seems to be able to understand the comedy. I shouldn't say nobody. It's just the people that don't see it. I think the majority of human beings understand the comedy, but the people that don't see it really, 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 really don't see it at all. Which, you know, they do say autism is on the rise. So that's probably a big piece of why this is happening. But it's discouraging. Certainly discouraging to me. Moving on. When I do holiday shopping, I pretty much get everyone the same gifts over the years, right? I'm exaggerating. For 2 years in a row, I go on Amazon and I buy a pack of knives. I buy 12 knives, or sometimes I can get 18, and they usually come out to about $2 per knife, $2.50 for like a knife. And they're small knives. They're not very like good, but also it's kind of like a knife is a tool. You're gonna chip it up. You're gonna scratch it up. If you use it enough, it's gonna get dull, and you can throw it away. Who cares? It was just $2. It's nice for people to just feel a little bit appreciated when you give them a knife, even though it didn't cost you much. It just means like, hey, I remembered you. I was thinking of you or whatever. I hand them out to bartenders, my acquaintances, you know, people who I only see once every couple months. Give them a nice little tiny knife. And I tell them, put it in your car. If you have a little string hanging off your shirt, cut the string. If you get Amazon packages, open your Amazon boxes with this little knife. And then when it gets shitty or old or you lose it, you don't have to care about it because it's only $2. No big deal. So I did that. I gave a lot of those away. It makes me feel happy too. I gave one to the bar manager at this bar that I really don't go there that often, but I got in a big fight at this bar many years ago. And this guy decided not to kick me out because he watched the footage and he's like, oh, it wasn't your fault. And I beat the fuck out of this guy. And they didn't like press charges or anything. And it was great. And I was like, yeah, okay, let me give him a Christmas present, a $2 Christmas present. And I guess he thought it was a trick. I guess some people can't accept compliments and some people can't accept gifts. I'm kind of like that sometimes. I guess he's shorter than me, right? And I'm only 5'6". He's just a shorter guy, and the knife is this big. So I gave it to the other bartender. He wasn't there. I said, "Give this to the bar manager. Tell him it's for me." Anyways, I saw that guy. He's like, he thinks you're making fun of him. I was like, I gave him a Christmas present, and he thinks I'm making fun of him. He said, "Yeah, why'd you give him a tiny knife?" I was like, "What do you mean? I gave because it's cheap, and if he loses it or breaks it, it's no big deal." And he's like, "No, he thinks it's a short joke. He thinks you gave him a tiny knife because he has tiny hands." I was like, "Wait, what? Now it's an insult? I was being nice." I'm being nice to everyone. Not a single person has ever complained. So now I got to go get him a fucking katana from the smoke shop to redeem myself. Oh shit. It's I could not believe that story yesterday. I was like, dude, I was being nice. It's a nice gesture. It fits on like your belt loop. It has a little carabiner in it. It can hook onto things. You can put it on your keychain. It's small. I just think it was funny. It was a funny way to respond to that. What else is going on? Instagram prime rib. We talked about that. I watched the guy at the bar a couple days ago win $7,000, and it was funny. I think he was already pretty drunk. I'd met him before, but I don't know him that well. It's just somebody I see in passing and just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Also, what the fuck? Every story is me at a bar. What's wrong with me this week? I need to find God. So I watched the guy win $7,000, and I knew it happened because I was on the other side of the bar. I was playing pool, and I looked over, and the guy does this move where he goes, "Hey," he's calling over to his friend. His friend is across the bar. He goes, "Hey, shh, shh, come here, shh, but shh." Okay, whenever you yell, "Hey, come here," and then yell, "Shh," no one thought that was a tactical move. Like, everyone's looking at you now. You just yelled, "Hey, come here, shh." It's no longer, whatever you were trying to keep a secret is no longer a secret at all. No one fell for that. Anyways, I wandered over. And then after that, they looked at the slot machine and then high-fived. And I'm like, okay, dude, you're not keeping this a secret very much. So anyways, I wandered over there to ask if they wanted to play pool because I wanted to see how much they won. I was expecting it to be about $1,000. Turns out it was 7,000. I looked down, I was like, damn, nice job, dude. Merry Christmas. You're gonna have a great Christmas now. And he goes, "Yeah, shh, don't tell anyone." I'm like, bro, number one, I barely know you. Okay, so everyone already knows. Number two, I'm going to give you guys all on my podcast a secret. If you win money on a slot machine that's a flat top, like bar top slot machine, you can grab a napkin and place it on the slot machine, and it will cover the amount of money that you won. I know maybe some of you guys only exposure to slot machines might be like movies where it's like ding 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 beep 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 wee wee. No, in real life they don't make any noise. They just lock up. They freeze, and that was too much money for the bar to have in their dispenser. So the employee of the slot company has to come out and pay you by hand. But while you're waiting, and sometimes you're gonna wait for about an hour, you don't necessarily want anyone to know what you've won, because they might call someone and wait for you outside and try to rob you or hurt you or something like that. So a lot of people keep their big wins kind of secret. And I think that's what this guy was trying to do, but he did a terrible job of it, and I got a good story out of it. So that happened. We were talking last week about the New Jersey drones. No one cares. There's no aliens. Someone's hiding something. We don't know what it is yet. But I was reading an article about a drone show in Orlando. And if you already know what happens in this news story, it's fucking brutal. But a few months ago, they demolished a casino here called the Tropicana. And it was really cool because as the casino's imploding, they blew it up and it fell apart. You can find a video on YouTube, like Tropicana explosion. or Tropicana demolition. And it falls down, and then as it's falling down, there's these drones that are making like three-dimensional shapes, spelling out words. They're all just doing these cool tricks, and they're like, it's like 3D rotating. It made like a dice, and then it made like a blackjack, and it's spelling out the word Tropicana, and it's just wavy. Really cool. You've seen a lot of that stuff too. I've seen like Japanese shows like that where it's almost like you're watching like a theater or like a play, just with little lights dancing around in the sky. Well, anyways, they tried to do that in Orlando, and a couple of drones fell out of the sky, and they fell into this like river or lake. And you can hear the audience like, oh damn, like the drone show's fucked up. Oh, somebody's getting fired. LOL. Like, did you see that drone fall? They're falling now. And then it goes from like a light funny mood to like, oh, like these drones are fucking up, to immediately like, oh fuck, they're coming straight for us. So then these drones start falling from the sky, injuring many people, and almost killed a child. I think a kid was in critical condition because one of these drones, and they got to be pretty big, and they have propellers on them that can cut through your skin. I guess it hit a kid in the chest, fucked him up really bad, and it's not funny. It's funny to laugh at how things go from funny to serious really quickly. But I think that's gonna be the violation. No, that's gonna be the big problem when it comes to the future of drones. Right now, there's a lot of talk of like Amazon delivering small packages via drones and Walmart and things like that. I think they're already doing it on a small scale. But I think the big problem there is what happens when these drones hit like too much wind, or they have some type of malfunction, they fall, they start breaking things. It's a matter of time before somebody dies from like a delivery drone. Drones have already killed many people. I've read tons of those articles, and I think I saw a video of someone's neck getting sliced open by one. Thanks, Twitter, by the way. Yeah, shout out to Twitter for showing me more dead people this year than I've seen maybe in the history of my internet. Every time I log on, it's someone being beheaded, electrocuted to death. Every type of death that could happen, I think I've seen this year. They shouldn't call it Twitter. They should just call it like cartelkillings.com, because that's mostly what Twitter is. And it's not like, bro, I don't be hitting like. Okay, I try to keep going. I want to get that. I just woke up. I don't want to watch somebody die. Get crushed by an elevator. Oh, God. It's awful. Anyways, yeah, the drones, matter of time before it hits the fan. Would you guys like to win a free Ninja Lifestyle sticker pack? Oh yeah, I would love that. Okay, all you have to do is answer this question correctly in the chat room. Here's what we do. How many ghosts does it take to screw a light bulb? How many ghosts are in the story/movie A Christmas Carol? It's a movie, it's a story. It's an 1843 novella by Charles Dickens. It's a ghost story of Christmas, also called A Christmas Carol. How many ghosts are in there? First published in London by Chapman and Hall in 1843, it recounts the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, an elderly miser, who is visited by the ghost of his former business partner, and the spirits of Christmas past, and the spirit of Christmas present, and the spirit of Christmas yet to come, or something. And in the process, Scrooge is transformed into a kinder, gentler man named Elon Musk. Node for Droid, you are the winner. 4 ghosts. What were they again? His business partner, the past, present, and future. Whatever. You're the winner. Send me your address on a DM and I'll get the stickers to you soon. If you won stickers, or if I said I would give you some shit this week, I fucked it. Okay? I still need to send things out. I'm going to try to put them in the mail tomorrow. Right after this podcast, I'll try to get those out. I'm just really easily distracted, and I'm blowing it. I'm always blowing it. This podcast is almost over. Don't worry. We're almost out of our misery. Excuse me. I watched 2 movies this week. Not so much X-Files. A lot of movies. I watched King Kong versus Godzilla Empire, and it was really dumb. The graphics and CGI, pretty cool. The storyline, it's not the worst. Just the lapse in... There's like so many lapses in like what happened between this scene and this scene. How did I get from this room to a whole nother country? How did I end up from in this with a giant magical moth creature, and now suddenly I'm in a vortex, I'm back on Earth, and now I'm going into space? Like the way that they jumped from scene to scene made no sense. It was really dumb. It played kind of like a really shitty animated film. And it's one of those things where I hate when, or I don't hate, I sometimes notice when the writer doesn't know how to get from point A to point B, so they just make like magic happen. I'll give you a great example of one that was done sarcastically. There's a movie called Beer Fest. And in the middle of the movie, spoiler alert, one of the characters dies. And you're like, oh fuck, how are they going to compete? It's like a big beer tournament. One of the characters died. He's dead. He can't compete. Well, he comes back to life, and they simply said, oh, I'm his twin brother, and I also can drink beer. And I wasn't mentioned at any point during the show. It's just luck that this dead character now magically has a twin brother. What are the odds of that? And that's bad writing on purpose to make a comedic joke. But they do the same type of shit in bad movies, where they're like, oh no, like, how am I gonna get through this, let's call it a wall, this magical wall? And it's like, what if I use that magic carpet that just appeared out of nowhere? And you're like, when did magic carpets exist in this storyline ever? You couldn't figure out a way to get from this transition to this transition, so you just invented something out of thin air. I thought it was stupid. Anyways, King Kong had a lot of that, and it was watchable. I can see why people would watch it, because if you're watching it in theaters, I bet the audio is sick as fuck. The lack of dialogue is okay. At one point, there's like a person that just like touches like a magical like wall of magic, and then it transforms the whole like world into magic shit. When I thought we were, and it's so fucking stupid, man. And then a lizard touches a power plant and absorbs the power. What? This is so dumb. What do you mean a giant lizard just grabbed a power plant and absorbed the power and then went into a magical warp into some secret land of bullshit? How did that happen? And how's there one kid who can speak to lizards? The whole movie's dumb. And then I thought I had seen a really dumb movie, but I can see why it was good, because the graphics were great. The visuals were great. If I was on some type of hallucinogen, bitch. Oh, I hate this goddamn. Oh, I hate this. If I was on mushrooms or acid, that movie would have been great. Next. The next day, I watched a movie called Ender's Game. And I think it really made me dumber. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I gave it a 0 out of 10 here on my notes. It's one of the worst movies ever. And I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. It had like a 4 out of 10. And I was like, yes, good. It has to be that bad. It's terrible. The whole movie's dumb. Like, there was not one redeeming part of the whole movie. And you know what? It's kind of like I was waiting and waiting and waiting for something cool to happen. And then something less cool happened. Like, they instead of like closure or like a climax or like a big finale, it was the opposite. The movie got even shittier at the end. That takes skill to make a bad. First off, when you're watching a bad movie, when it's over, you go, finally, that shitty movie's over. This one got worse at the end somehow. It got even worse. Bad movie. Do not ever watch it. Ender's Game. Listen, this is my gift to you. Merry Christmas. Don't ever watch that fucking movie. It's terrible. You're going to become dumb. You know who watches that movie? TikTok people. I bet. I don't know that that's true, but I bet they do. Terrible, terrible fucking movie. On that note, I rewatched part of, oh my God, what is it called? Good Will Hunting. I watched part of Good Will Hunting yesterday, and I thought to myself, wow, this is a great movie. The dialogue is great. The characters are great. The story's interesting. It's compelling, right? There's happy parts, sad parts. There's even like jokes that would not be allowed to be said these days, which that gives me a little giggle sometimes. And I looked it up. I was like, dude, Rotten Tomatoes has to give this a good score, right? It was like a 97. So that proved to me that although I'm not a movie critic and I'm not like big into movies that much, it proved to me that my scale is somewhat right. I'm on the right track as far as good movies being good movies. That motherfucker had a 97. And I said, oh, of course it did. It's great. So that's it. That's the whole podcast, man. I hope everyone's having a great holidays. I will not see you guys before New Year's. So I hope everyone has a great New Year's. I'm going to go to a bar. Yeah, the bar guy goes to the bar. I go to the same bar every New Year's because if you show up, you win an automatic prize. The shittiest prize you could get would be like a beer mug or a t-shirt. The coolest prize, big screen TV, maybe an air fryer, maybe a ticket to a Golden Knights hockey game. So we're hoping for one of those big ticket items, but I'll be happy with a beer mug or something. So I'm definitely doing that. Can I get a hell yeah from everybody here? This is actually our last podcast of 2024. We've been doing this podcast for like 5 years, and we have some good ones. We have some that were kind of like today where we got off to a rough start, and it was a fun year of ups and downs, right? Even talking about just the podcast, we had some real ups and downs on the old podcast, but we got through it. I do hope that you guys make some resolutions. I haven't even thought of any. I should have wrote that on my notes here and thought of some good New Year's resolutions. I just want to try to keep my friends, keep everybody friendly, cook more food, get out of my comfort zone with food a little bit more, and I'll come up with some better ones later. Shout out to Drew Makes Stuff, Dietrich, The Real Griff, Kyle San, Electricity, Drew Makes Stuff, iBug Boy, Guy Jizz, playing Damn, 00 Agent, Dietrich, We Are Sad, Node for Droid, iBug Boy, Generation L, B Squared. You guys are awesome. Really feeling the love this year, especially the holidays right now, man. Really feeling the love. I appreciate all of you guys. I feel like every day is like a viewer appreciation day, and I don't always. Sometimes I be losing my composure with you guys. Like some of you are really fucking annoying, but I do appreciate all of you guys for hanging out, not just on the podcast, on our Twitch stream in general. If you didn't know, we stream on this platform 5 days a week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Tune in if you want to. Follow the podcast on Podbean, on Spotify, on iTunes, especially if you missed part of today's episode. Actually, you know what? If you missed the first half of today's episode, it was off to a pretty rough start. So no need to download this episode. But if you want to, you can. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Scary Cheese, we made a lot of new friends. Ron, stop it. Made a lot of new friends this year. Maybe we'll make some new friends next year. And I guess that's it. Appreciate the support. If you want to support, you can always send money. But money's tight right now. Buy your friends $2 knives unless they have small hands. Then that's going to backfire on you every single time. I hope everyone has a great weekend, a great holiday, a great new year. Hope everyone gets a great blowjob. And I will see you guys in the future. As I always say, don't drink too much and don't drink too little. What an asshole Steve is, man. He got me a knife that matches the size of my hands for Christmas. What a mean guy.